You know, this might be the last time I use the Uldenheim intro. Sad day. What's up?
I definitely.
She's just really androgynous.
Johnny was. Love Johnny.
Wait, Johnny Bravo?
Oh, we love Johnny Bravo too, but Johnny from Ed, Edd n Eddy.
I mean, let's be real. Plank was the real hero.
Plank was the real hero.
Courage was dark, man.
I loved Courage the Cowardly Dog.
It's fixed.
Alyssa, you have a courage vibe, like somebody who would watch Courage. Like, you know how
Thank
you can
you.
tell, like, you could spot somebody who like watches Rick and Morty, like you have that vibe except for courage.
I love that for me, actually. Thank you.
Uh-huh. It just immediately fit.
Is that currency number real?
Yes.
What currency?
I'm buying a country.
Huh?
In the announcements.
You say hi?
Where'd you get 170 from, Zach? Don't you guys have like over 1 million?
That's per person.
Is that across 5 or across 6?
That's across 5, assuming I did the math 2 weeks ago. The math's in chat.
Good news, guys. My bear chariots.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Friday Night Dice. Welcome to our Wednesday night campaign, the Castaways. Welcome to our second in a 2-part campaign wrap-up up until this point, as our heroes are finishing up their time on the island of Oldenheim.
Are we really castaways anymore?
That's a good question. What are you guys
What are
gonna
we
call
gonna do about
yourselves?
that?
What are you gonna call us? What are you gonna call yourselves from now on?
Zamira Zoomies.
Castaways.
Castaways. Castaways.
We are castaways.
I like it.
What the hell?
Tell me you've never watched Backyardigans.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt Backyardigans talk, but chat, it's a hat stream, so
Except
put your
hat
hats
stream.
on at home.
Put your hats on.
Hats on.
Hats required.
Hats on for Harambe, guys.
Okay.
I find out one of y'all wearing hats, and I'm timing you out in the chat.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna-
you better be wearing
I
hats.
got
gonna do
Emma
one
over
better. I'm
here
gonna come
who's
to your house
just
and
sitting
put a
in a
hat on
corner
you.
of her screen, hiding her face.
Can we have a vote for best hat?
I didn't realize my camera had shifted because somebody keeps unplugging it.
My vote personally is a tie between Zach and Aiden, because Aiden has the crush hat, but I would crush the booty on Zach's hat. So
What the hell? This hat
We
is
need a mesh.
old. This is an OG crush hat.
that's
This hat's
an
like-
amazing hat. That's a fucking relic, dude.
That's old. It also is. It's so old that it doesn't have an adjustable band, so you can see my skull trying to break out of it.
That is old,
This
indeed.
Because I don't think it's made for adult, much less my fucking big ass head.
Oh,
This
yes.
head, if I'm gonna put my 2 cents in for this hat has seen 42 countries and a lot of sweat.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Tasty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes it better or worse.
Just lick it and find out.
We're not listening to you. You're not wearing a hat.
Seasoned.
Seasoned, yeah. Ugh. These white spots weren't here before.
Jeez. How you guys all doing tonight?
Good.
Doing great.
I
Vibing.
can feel the blood not really reaching quite the top of my skull.
You don't need that part. You're
That's
fine.
more different.
Well,
Eh.
look, I'm wearing at least one ring.
So, let's get into tonight's session then.
Hard pass.
After
my dear. See ya.
a long few months on the Isle of Yuldenheim, after fighting for your lives for days on end, staying up for long hours of the day to travel through the night, staying up through long nights to travel through the day, finding whichever way was the safest route, destroying whole village civilizations, finding long-lost connections and family, meeting new friends, saving a few old ones, destroying and banishing a titan. We now find the 6 of you, technically. As you're gathering, and these last few days have passed, you have all spent the time deciding what you want to do whenever you get back to the mainland. But as Stradmule and Thadmule have completed the building of their makeshift ship, large enough to transport roughly 250 people. Should everyone decide to leave, this one ship could carry all of them with ease. But you guys have your own ship, in which you are sailing back on. One in which Gregor has graciously offered to captain for you, but, refresh my memory, was turned down. Yes, Zach?
Yes.
Nonetheless, he offered to help in any way possible if you guys would have him, bringing Ezra along with him to help man your ship and to return you guys where it all began. Port Midpar. So as each of you board your ship, you can see a numerous number of survivors from Tresana. The women, the children, the elderly, those that survived the battle when the village was burned to the ground by Belafon. You guys can see them gathering what little they can carry. And you even see a few of the tieflings gathering and going off on their ship. You can see Stradmule and Thadmule are currently affixing their large ballista on the helm of the ship, and are as giddy as ever as they run to and fro, and you can hear the sounds of hammers on wood as they secure it. You can see Patren begins to approach you. Well, I guess this is it. Time for us to finally return home.
It is. It's been, God, how long since you've been back to the mainland?
Years. I lost track of time.
It's fair.
But I'm excited to return. See my loved ones. And to get back to a sense of normalcy.
We'll have to unbury you, so that'll be like an interesting little thing that'll have to come up.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of paperwork I'll have to deal with all of that. I'm sure that the Chief Admiral is going to want a complete debrief on everything that's happened here. If you and your friends would like to be left out of that, I would understand.
Maybe all of them. I might show up at some point, but I'll take a couple days.
Yeah, it'll take us a few days. We have time. He kind of puts a hand on your shoulder. Don't be a stranger.
Of course not.
Kind of grabs this small rucksack and like throws it over his shoulder and begins walking off to the other ship to join everyone else. After about all of the individuals have begun to board Samuel and Thaddeal's boat, Captain Breger approaches. Well, you guys need an extra hand? Be happy to grant it for your voyage back. Otherwise, it appears someone needs to be sailing their ship.
I think we might take a little bit of a hand on the way out there, but remember you gotta save your strength. There's a whole other boat on the way back if you're still interested.
Yes.
It is already named. I hope you don't mind. It's the
Oh,
bearer of bad news.
well, I shall keep the name. Have it emblazoned on it.
It's good the paint's probably worn off at this point. We've kind of left it unattended for, I don't know, what, 2-3 weeks? It's been a minute, unfortunately.
And while you're kind of having this conversation with him, Graham approaches both Hidai and Fane. I suppose I'll be riding with both of you on our trip back.
Absolutely.
Right next to us.
Wait, when you say back, you mean back to the mainland, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, sure. Yeah. We haven't really made thought about coming back. But sure. Well, how quickly? I mean, we're obviously going to come back, but how? What kind of trip do you want to make of this, Grand? You want to go quickly, get it done, see the sights?
I've
There's a lot
said
of
my
world out
piece
there.
with here.
Take a bit of a stroll then.
Let's see where the road takes me.
Okay.
Well, guess I should be going to... I'll meet you all on the boat.
Get yourself comfy.
I shall try. I've never been sailing before. This will be experience.
I'll pack some ginger.
Does that help?
You know, once you lose the horizon, the rocking of the boat kind of it messes with you if you've been on land for a while. So I got you.
I guess if it becomes too much, I just swim along the side.
Or fly.
That as well.
Before I forget, Fane is going to give, because he gave the bow back to Akari, he's going to give the 5 anti-magic arrows back to Akari as well. Put those in your inventory, sir.
These are,
Man, those would have came in handy, wouldn't they?
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
A couple of the hunters from Tristana approach you, Akari. Those that are still left over. Well, taught us a lot. I think we've at least all decided to stay on the island. Don't think we'd much fit in on the main. This is all we've ever known.
I hardly know what's next to myself, so I understand. I'm glad these people will be in your capable hands.
Well, thank you. Taught us a lot. Done a lot for us.
I wish you a safe service.
Gallus approaches the 5 of you. Particularly Fane sticks out his arm to like pull him in.
Bro hug.
Yep. Gives you a bro hug.
I like headbutt him a little bit and say, I would say we're just right over the hill, but we won't be, so don't fuck it up.
I'll do my best. And
You'll do the job, Yalis. You will.
I hope we meet again one day.
Yalis, we're coming back. It's not like we're going to be gone forever. We're going to see. We'll be back.
Your father said the same when he left. He'd be back.
This is just a vacation. I haven't stayed along. I haven't worn out my welcome here yet, so I have to stay. Besides, it's technically mine, right? I have to come back. I have a responsibility now. Don't tell anybody I said that.
Until you return.
Soon.
Makes a quick bow.
Get up, stop it. And I'll take the circlet off of my head. However the fuck that got on there, I didn't even think about the fact that I have horns. And I'll hand it to Yalis. Acting chieftain.
Thank you, my
And
brother.
just in case, I'll hand him the life essence blade and say, if you feel like you're the person to wield it, do so. But if I never come back, give it to the person you feel is the right fit.
We'll wield it in your honor until you return.
I like that. I do. Give him another headbutt and bank on the button, send him on his way.
As you guys kind of look off in the distance, you can see the horizon, and it's like that sense right before you go on a vacation that you're reared up, you're ready, ready to get going, your bags are packed, all you have to do is hit the road. And everyone's kind of a little antsy, a little the anticipation building. Each you gather your things and make your way to your boat.
Make it away.
Making our way. One last time.
As the six of you board your boat, Scholar, there is a short tingle in the back of your head, and as you turn back, you can look off into the direction, and far beyond your vision, while you can't see anything, you can't make it out, you know that Astoria and Torsion are looking on from a distance, just a strange feeling in the back of your mind. And you can hear a whisper from Torsion that's, thank you for everything that all of you have done.
Did everyone hear this?
Everyone heard this.
Gotcha. I'll say thank you back.
You don't know if he heard, but you get the sense.
It's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts. As all of you board your vessel and ship off sea. That's not what I wanted. Of course it doesn't work. Your sails unfurl. A strong gust of wind rushes through. Gidai, as you turn back for one last look at the island, you can see there's these small little leaves that are blowing into the wind and kind of filling your sails. As you kind of like trace them back, you can see there's like a steady stream of wind flowing from the northern edges of the islands, from where the Iklavar Grove was, where you saved Maeve and released her from her imprisonment of the Verdant King.
I just kind of put my hand over my heart.
Zamira, as you as well make your way to the back of the boat and you kind of look over it. you can see just a subtle glimpse of the dragons that still remain flying around the large, towering mountains off in the distance, encircling, but not hunting like you guys have seen. You get the sense it's more of a freedom. They're enjoying the ability to fly in the open air when they want and where they want. And as you're watching on, they begin to scatter in all different directions.
I'll just, as I'm watching them, I'll just kind of like close my eyes and take a deep breath with like all the air moving around me. And then I'll just kind of like salute up to the dragons and close my eyes.
After a few days of travel on sea, a couple more rough than others, but the sea and the wind on your side. Do you have something, Zach?
Yes, if that's all right. I would like to spend my time showing everyone around their positions on the boat as Kothar has deemed. So Kothar would spend the days at sea teaching Akare how to be first mate, how to be captain of a vessel when Kothar is not around. He would take his time and consult with both Brager and Petrin on how to inform Scholar how to be a navigator.
We take those.
Zamira, he would get with the mules and then try to instruct her on how to be a powder monkey, because that seems like something that is directly up her alley. And then for Kidai, he would like to attempt to teach.
You can run really fast to
Oh,
powder.
yeah. That was literally my thought. I was like, what would running fast do? I was like, oh, fuck yeah, load them cannons. Load the cannons at Mach fuck you. That'd be great.
You could just kick the cannonballs across the way.
Yeah.
Across the way.
And Kothar would like to try to teach Kidai how to be a bosun.
Can you teach Alyssa what a bosun is?
The person that repairs the ship.
Oh, love that.
I just want to point out that Fane, as we sail away and like look along the island, and there's like probably like a long drawn out silence, Fane would say something shitty like, "Boy, this seems like a good time to say something prescient, doesn't it?" Fuck.
I mean, yeah. Look at us.
Look at this. Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought?
Yeah.
It is funny. I mean, believe in the fates or not, that island had something for every single one of us.
Indeed. I left my home a long time ago. But even though this is only a short time, this is a harder departure. This one means more.
Is it because you're leaving something behind in this one versus the last time?
I left something behind in Drakenford, but it wasn't family. It wasn't. It just wasn't as much. Let me put it this way, I look forward to returning somewhere for once.
I'll tell you what, fine. Anytime you need passage, just let me know. I'll be happy to
Okay,
revisit
go.
the island for you.
Absolutely. Just don't fuck it up on the reef, right?
What are the odds we get stranded on that island twice? Like,
I mean, it's like getting stuck in your house, right? It's home now. It's fine. You just come hang out, have some drinks, build a new boat, find a new crew.
fair. There's got to be at least a couple other stranded captains and boats on that
There's a
island.
whole different side of the island we didn't explore. There could be like 6 people, groups of people just like us.
I think there probably are about 6 people on that side.
Yeah. Ooh. There's like a dark mirror of us just totally struggling on the island.
You don't.
They have no emotional attachments to the island. They just have sand and blisters.
I have an idea for another campaign.
The Dark Mirror campaign.
The darkest timeline.
Last-
Castaways.
Oh.
Well, besides make shitty jokes and laugh at the fact that he doesn't have a job, Thane will just, I don't know, cook.
Sunbathe?
You sunbathe, for sure. He'd be like a crow's nest, I think. He'd like look around.
It's fair.
Be the guy that yells land ho.
Oh!
Yes, we would also drop off Brigger and Ezra and whoever else wanted to get off at the Bearer of Bad News.
Easy enough to do. Okay. Take a short bow to each of you. Well, I think we'll make it home a little bit quicker than you guys will. But if we don't, have a beer ready for us when we land.
If you don't make it, we'll double back and make sure there isn't another Zoltroy that left you stranded on the island.
Scholar laughs.
Gonna say that was good humor, Akari. Good job.
That actually worked.
It's in the delivery, I think.
Fair. Fair. Kothar will make sure their ship is well stocked for the journey, even if they choose not to go to Kothar.
Yeah.
Including a chest of 10,000 gold pieces for Captain Breger, which Kothar will take out of his pay.
Opens it up and his eyes just go wide. Is like the
Oh
glitter.
no, I
of it just,
buried
like,
it. I
illuminates him.
buried it. I'm not giving it to him. I'm just hiding it on the boat.
Oh, I thought you said you're giving it to him.
Yeah, I'm giving them 10,000 gold by putting it on the boat where he will find it. I'm assuming after we leave.
Okay, understood.
With
I thought
just
you
a
were
note.
handing him a chest of 10,000 gold.
Oh god, no.
Okay,
No. The note will just say like thanks.
understood. Eventually, as both ships heave off, the winds, the sea begin to welcome you. Gorgeous sunny days and clear skies are all that welcome you as you guys take your couple days journey on your way back to Port Midpar. Eventually,
Can I?
go ahead.
Oops, sorry.
Okay.
Can I accomplish something
What
on
are you trying to
the
accomplish?
for Scholar? I would like to try and make a copy of the book that he has written, with the addition of all of his stories, his journeys, so on and so forth, all of his stories, comments, and my Scholar's personal thoughts on those comments.
It's easy enough to do.
Spend as much time as I can scribbling and scrawling.
It's a 2-day sail back. You get most of it done in that time. Scholar, I would imagine, is a quick write.
I think so.
When Scholar gets to the end of a line, does his hand ching back to the beginning?
And now
Each
he puts a semicolon, end of line.
It's probably difficult for him to not write in Warforged. It's like a second language. It's like, fuck. I put the comma there? Or is it? No.
Eventually, the towering peaks of the Duinterf Range begin to come in view. And a sense of home instantly washes over all of you. For a lot of you, this is the same peaks you saw when your journey was just beginning. For others of you, these are peaks that you see every day, off in the distance behind where your small village was, or the port where you called home. Eventually, the small port fishing village of Port Mid Park comes into view. The docks are fairly empty today. And as you guys begin to pull in, there is a few guards that become walking over. An unmarked and unnamed ship is a strange thing. But as they approach, Trent just kind of looks at all of you. I'll handle this part. You can see now that he is fully dressed in his Navy Admiral gear, seemingly as he changed as you guys were about to pull into the dock.
God, when was the last time we had that shit pressed? Gross.
It is quite shabby, isn't it? That's what happens.
Sorry, that was out of character. Still fits you though.
At least there's that. A little more tight in the gut area.
I swear they make them with shrinking waists every year, but maybe that's just me.
Well, I'll handle the reporting and the paperwork, as well as you guys gonna name the ship. I'll pay the docking fees.
I have a few ideas for that, but it requires some upgrades and some colors first.
Call it the Legacy of the Rock.
Let's call it the Dragon's Breath.
That's better.
Trent kind of gives a smirk and nods. The Dragon's Breath it shall be. Kind of disembarks, and you can see him hail a few people, and you see them kind of look at him warily, and you see them start questioning him. And eventually, one of the dudes is just like, there's like a shocked moment on his face when he realizes who this is. He just takes off running in the other direction to like go yell the news to all the other people that are those that are stationed here. You guys are home. What do you like to do?
Oh, Fane will look at Fralia and look out and say, "This is the mainland in all of its glory. You've seen it now."
She looks back, looks at you. The mountains back on Downtime are much larger.
It was a joke, but I don't want you to take it seriously. Really, there's much more impressive places out there. This is just sort of a backwater port. Have you been to the mainland before?
Never. This is my first time.
Oh, wow. This is going to be interesting then. This is called a dock. Boats. Do you know what a boat is? We just came here on a boat.
Yes, I know what a boat is.
This is a dock in Port Mid Park. Those are taverns. Those are hookers. Don't talk to them. They're very nice, but don't talk to them.
Just because I've never been to the mainland does not mean I am an idiot.
I know.
But thank you for your concern.
Kothar will walk up behind Fane as he's explaining all of this and put his arm around him. Welcome to my home. I know it's probably a lot since you haven't seen it in a while, but this is where I grew up. What do you think? Great little place, right?
It's wonderful, and the taverns here have more character than anywhere else. The rum we consumed on the island came from the tavern here.
It did. Speaking of which, I probably owe them a handful of coins.
You know what? It's on me.
Speaking of on you, do you need any of the hoard? I don't know if you need any coin. I know you agreed probably to sail for some coin.
I did, and I'll look at like Fralia, and my Fane's expression will get a little tenser. He'll check his coin pouch and say, I need about 5,000 gold pieces. Maybe some travel expenses as well. Depending how this goes. I mean, I look at Fralia, I said, we could stay with them for a while, see what happens, and make our merry way to Drakenford. It's a bit of a hike, so we could make some of the journey with these folks.
Sure, it's easy enough. Kothar will open the infinite bag of holding.
I forgot to add your.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I just know we have 2.
Yeah.
And he will hand Fane 10,000 gold pieces and platinum coins.
That's 1,000 gold. That's 1,000 platinum, right?
Yeah, or you can split it at 5,000 between gold and platinum, however you want, whatever.
All I have right now is platinum anyway, so that's perfect. Platinum. Thank you, Kothar.
You've definitely earned your keep out there.
I suppose so. This will pay off the last debt I owe.
Is Fry gonna look over to you? And what debt do you owe?
I'm wanted dead or alive by a gang of vicious thugs in my home city. It's not a big deal. It's just sort of the thing that happens.
The same
to
home
you
city that we're
sometimes.
traveling to?
Yes.
Interesting.
That's why
Don't worry about it. I'm level 11 now.
we're going to make a. I'm going to make a stop in the city before. Well, honestly, you're probably safer there than I am, but I should be fine. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Besides, Fralia, the people love me there. It's just a few people we have to worry about.
How long have you been gone? Do they still love you?
I don't know if I've explained the measure of Gendarog's celebrity, but there are statues to him. And his son will not be so quickly forgotten, I don't think. Shit, there might even be statues to me. It's been a few years.
If not, you probably have the coin to create one at this point.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. We also have a home there. In Grangland. You can at least
You'll have to
see
show
where
me.
we lived, yeah. I don't know what kind of state it will be in. But...
Are we going to be leaving soon, or taking a few days to let you guys settle back in before we head?
That depends, I suppose. I look at the rest of the group and say, what is the plan? What is your plan?
I don't think we've really talked about it, but I mean, personally, I think we kind of tossed the idea around when you were there, Fane, you know? I'd like to at least take a little while and not worry about someone running at me with an axe or, you know, a dragon trying to bite my left butt cheek off.
It'll be a big meal.
They are big dragons.
They were big dragons.
What do you guys think? Some time off?
Time off is fine if that's what you all want to do. I really, as he looks towards her, just need Kidai's help, per se.
Help with what?
Or an alternative. My people.
Oh, absolutely. I figured we would chit chat about that, but I could use a little bit of a rest, like a
I understand.
week or two
What?
off. What do you think? Maybe 3, maybe 4. Come up with a game plan, you know?
You see again, kind of, when you first saw Akare on Oldenheim, you see once more as he takes in all of what Port Midbar is, which is, I imagine, Matt, a little more sizable than even Ophila.
Oh,
He's once again out of his element.
Phil's
This is not
probably
his
about
world.
the same size as Port Midbar.
Okay. Well, but seeing a whole continent displayed before him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine Port Midpar's a little more lively than Ophila, though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There might be something useful I can pick up in the meantime, if that's what you guys want to do.
I think that's a good idea. Come up with a plan and then tackle whichever issue comes first.
Hey, Fane will look around. I see. If we're taking a vacation, making a stroll of it, perhaps we could be of assistance to Akare as well.
Explain to me what.
Short version of the story is he's got a very tragic upbringing, and his found family is made of stone. They need
Kinda
to be
looks to Akare.
unstonified.
I hope that's not literal.
Yeah, I kind of imagined the strangest things you would have seen on Oldenheim, so. But yeah. It's going to take a. Kidai, remind me, it's going to take a lot of diamond. So.
Quite a bit.
I'm going to at least shop for some as best I can around, but I'm not sure where we're going to acquire a huge quantity like that.
We do have quite a bit that we got from Zeltroy.
Thane, quick reminder that there are numerous gem mines around the outskirts of Drakenford.
That's true.
Also,
Oh.
out of game, we have 12,000 gold pieces worth of diamond, which was not factored into the split of our money, by the way. That was left alone.
I was actually hoping to visit the gem mines anyway. I have kind of a plan that Scholar and I talked about, and I think I'll need to head up that way anyway.
Fane will bring up the small city of Mining Town, which is very near Drakenford, and is the hub of gem trade.
I love a town with a literal name.
Mm-hmm. Hookerville. That's where I want.
Hell yeah.
You guys, did we talk about this, or was this in my mind? Did we talk about buying a castle with all the gold? Did we ever talk about that, or was that in my head?
I think so. I think we kind of threw the idea around at the same time we were talking about, like, you know, like buying a bar, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you could buy 16 bars, but
What do we name it?
the bar?
Puzzles?
The Legacy of Torok.
Why is it called Puzzles? That's the puzzle, I guess.
The mystery bar. What is the mystery? A place to stay for when we inevitably get chased out of Sangara.
I wouldn't mind having somewhere to call our own.
I think that would be nice. Somewhere to circle back to if we ever separate.
The most feared and legendary band of heroes that no one has ever heard of. Yeah, a keep.
That's a really
Castle.
long name for a bar.
But a great name.
A great name.
What if we made the castle a bar?
I feel like that might be complicated
I don't
and
know
potentially
anything
unwise.
The
I heard a
licensing alone would be
about
difficult.
story about castles.
Would open the
Isn't
door
that-
to a dungeon club, though, like an underground dance club.
That's Fane's expertise.
I'd only heard stories about castles, but isn't the point that you can close it all up and stay in it for a long time defensively? Why would you want a bar?
We should talk about marketing, but not now. A good brand is important for a business. A unique selling proposition, right? That's probably very esoteric to you, but in commerce, uniqueness is good, and a bar and a castle will be very unique.
What about a bar that looks like a castle?
Isn't that the same thing?
Fane, do you really want that many drunk people stumbling around your house at all hours of the day?
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
And it's not my house. I just want a guest room.
What about a gym that looks like a bar?
What about a gym with a bar?
You could call it 12-ounce curls.
Guys, we're going into business in real life.
I need you to sign the rights to that name to me right now.
In that case, it would need to be a bar that looks like a gym.
Oh, you wanted a gym that looked like a bar.
Mm-hmm. But
Oh,
we could
that's-
have a bar that looks like a gym. The seats look like dumbbells turned on their sides.
What if we did that? What if we could buy like a big building? We could do that anywhere, right? With the pile of gold. And just have the bottom floor be the best bar. And then the upstairs just,
What if we
gym?
turn our ship into a bar?
we could bring it and put it on the roof of wherever we go. It's the VIP
Call it
room.
Drinks Ahoy.
So the first floor is 12-ounce curls. The second floor is puzzles. The third floor is the most legendary heroes that no one's ever heard of. The fourth floor is Drinks Ahoy. And it's also a boat.
Kothar, because you're from the Empire, you would know that looking for any sort of land to buy, you would just need to visit the nearest tax collector, and they would direct you in the right direction.
Oh! Fantasy taxes?
Did you see the session of Campaign 2 where I drew up a mortgage?
Yes,
Oh my god.
literally awful.
Well, of
Yeah.
course you saw it, Matt. You were there.
I know. I was just agreeing, like, awful.
I mean, there's a handful of things I'd like to do. I mean, it's not like we don't have coin to go around.
I think I might just like to go do a little light shopping. You guys can figure out the real estate. I don't care much about that, and I don't care about a bar personally. But you guys
Don't
can
care
make
about
whatever decision you want with that.
The bar was, the bar was more like my idea. Like I was planning on trying to purchase a tavern somewhere, but that was more a me thing, and that's just because I've never really, like had a place that was my own. Kind of like one.
Does anybody want to go visit any shops with me? Maybe Kidai does. Kidai, do you want to go shopping with me?
Love to go shopping.
I do have, Scholar will chime in. I do have some things I would like to acquire.
Is anybody going to try to steal Scholar?
You guys don't know how
Makeover.
you guys don't know how anyone on the mainland is going to react whenever they see Scholar.
Speaking of which, Scholar will, when we have a moment, go into town proper and try and find someone who looks industrious.
Street.
In Port Midport, you might be hard pressed to find somebody industrious.
Somebody looks unattached.
Kothar
Okay.
might
Are
be
you
able
gonna
to guide
harvest
him
their
in a-
organs?
What's that?
Kothar might be able to guide him in a semi-reasonable direction.
I want to look for someone who would be willing to take on a momentous task.
All right.
Assuming you describe the task to Kothar, he could probably guide.
I'll show him the book. So I need somebody to take this across the world.
Kothar, as soon as he says that, you'd instantly know that the only place he's going to find anybody to do that is on the Golden Coast.
Yeah, that might be a little tricky. I mean, you could probably send it in some coin with the mules when they head back.
Which? Oh, wrong accent. So here is not the best place. Then.
Unfortunately, no.
I understand.
It's not really an adventurous town. I mean, it's lively, but that's mostly just because it's the closest port on the south side. Golden Coast can have a lot better, I don't know, variety of people who are willing to take a risk for some money.
Understood. Well, what is our first stop from here?
From my understanding, you
Fine.
guys are going to go investigate real estate and then do some light shopping. So, are you heading to the capital then?
Hands up if the answer is yes.
Sure.
If we're leaving the town, Kothar has
I assume you might
Three.
want to make a couple stops.
yes. Yes. Sorry, guys. This is Kothar's hometown. He had shit to do. I'll try to make it
All
very quick.
good.
You're good.
We got
I
time.
planned for it.
Yeah. He'd go back to the boat and talk to the mules first, probably.
Go back and you can see they're currently working on just like small little patchworks from where people like scuffed up the deck from being out on it, and they're proud of this boat and they're trying to keep it pristine.
It is quite truly a marvelous vessel you two have constructed with such limited equipment and resources.
I dare say it's one of our best yet.
How much would it cost if I were to inquire about keeping it for myself? I know your services are probably at a premium.
Tell you what, you promise to keep it well and put together. And you get us home. And we'll part with it for a mere 10,000.
That sounds like a wonderful deal for me. I can fetch up a crew for you all to sail home. A second proposition. If you were to take the boat back with you and the crew, would you be able to put in some upgrades? Kind of it's a wonderful vessel, but I have a few pieces that I'd like added to it if it's not too much trouble.
You saved our lives. Nothing is too much trouble.
Wonderful. I'll hand them. I don't know. I'd say how
They're
much
gonna
do
be
you say
doing
it
all the
would
work
cost?
themselves.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. How much do you think it would cost to get the to get a crew? And I'll just deduct that, and then I'll give them some money.
1 second, let me go back to my other tab because I wrote this down. It will cost 20 gold pieces a day to fully man the ship with good sailors, not mediocre or not the best. If you want the best, it's going to cost you 25 per day. If you want mediocre, it's going to cost you 10 per day.
How far of a travel is it out to the Golden Coast?
The Golden Coast from here is a lengthy journey. It's going to take probably about 2 weeks.
Don't forget it's entirely... Sorry, this is Aiden, not Akari. Don't forget it's entirely possible that you could probably pick up a charter, deliver cargo, and make money out of the trip.
Yeah. That's not that expensive. It's like 400 gold. Not that expensive. It's like 400 gold for a crew. Actually, it's 340.
Yeah, but you might be able to make a lot of gold just on one charter.
Yeah, Kothar's not concerned about that.
I mean,
I don't want them to
otherwise,
have to do work on their way out there.
Well, but I just meant for the mules to cover themselves, because you're not always going to be on the boat, probably.
True, but no. I will splurge for the good crew, and then I will give them. I will describe to you the upgrades that I would like them to do, and you tell me if 15,000 is enough.
Okay.
Kothar would like an extravagant captain's quarters because he deserves it. And then I will hand them the half-drank bottle of rum that Patrin gave me years ago. It is supposed to go above the door in the captain's quarters on a shelf.
Very specific, but okay.
He just wants to be able to look at it when he's at his desk in the captain's quarters.
Understood.
A full outfit of cannons on the second deck, because we might need it.
Sir.
The sails, I'd like them painted in the colors of my old unit, which will be like a dark, almost blood red sail with gold threading and then an image of a black dragon head painted across it.
Understood.
And this one might be a little difficult, so let me know if it's going to be pricey. But the figurehead, it's just the dragon's breath. I'd imagine we can get a carved dragon head. But if possible, out of something like ebony.
We'll make sure it's done.
Will 15,000 cover all of that? And please I don't want a discount because of what happened. I appreciate your work and you deserve to be paid rightfully so.
That will more than enough come.
Wonderful. I imagine I'll be out there soon enough to grab it.
If not, you can send word and we will bring it back.
These are truly the best shipwrights I've ever met.
Meet some of our other siblings.
I'm afraid that might be horrifying to get too many of you in one place at one time.
Well, there are roughly 14 of us.
Feel sorry for your mother.
Yes, the holidays do get quite messy.
Gross.
Oh. Keep it in the family.
It's not what I said.
Can you imagine a bunch of incestuous dwarves?
I
Fucking
hate you
Christmas.
all. Okay, moving
Imagine
on.
the smell.
Moving on.
Bruh.
The only other two things he'd do very quickly is he would stop by the...
Stepping stone home?
Yeah, stepping... No, I knew that one. I was trying to think of the bar. What is it?
The bronze
Brass...
anchor?
Bronze anchor. Shit, I was so close. Bronze anchor, he'd pay off his debt.
It's like 40 gold pieces.
Yeah. And he'd apologize. He'd pay it off with interest. He'd give him 50, I guess.
Easy enough to do.
And then he would stop by the stepping stone home. And, just take a moment. And probably give them a handful of gold as well. Just to keep them afloat, make sure everything's running well. And then he'd be off with his friends, doing cool shit.
I don't know if I'd call it cool shit. We're investigating real estate.
Oh, I think it's gonna be pretty cool. All right. With that, all of you gather your things, and you make your way. Make it away. For the capital of Kulaxum, the crowned city of the Zartalos Empire. As you all approach on the crystal clear banks, you can see the long 6-mile bridge that extends across from the mainland to the cliffside where the large city of Kulaxum sits, atop large cliffs and surrounding by large 30-foot walls above these cliffs. 3 spires of white stone towering above from the cathedral, the main keep on the western edge of the city. Large waterfalls falling from each of the spires and down into the lakes below. You can see there are a number of people on the outskirts of the city, just kind of going to and from the gatehouse at the bottom of the bridge. A couple of people standing outside a large building. Appears to be some sort of tavern, a stopping point on the outskirts of the city, maybe for those that can't get in or just need a place to rest. It's a 6-mile bridge. Takes a while to get across that. But eventually you guys draw closer. And with ease, you guys come to the gatehouse. After waiting your guys' turn for what felt like forever, but was only a mere couple of minutes, you're greeted by one of the guards at the gate. What business do all of you have?
Big business.
Kothar, are you wearing the Philippe Patren gifted you one of his, I don't remember, it was his, like the
He just gave me the rank. He ripped it off.
Yeah, there was something.
It'd be a pauldron.
Yeah, it's a pauldron. That's what it was. I couldn't think of the word.
If Kothar thought it would have given him an advantage, then potentially.
I kind of look. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Are you needing access to the city?
Yes, that'd be appreciated. Me and my compatriots were hoping to
Please,
do a bit of shopping and...
Big business.
We're sorry for delaying you. Please step aside.
Thank you. We have big business to attend to.
I'll look at him like side-eye. Big business.
And after you guys would have spent a little bit of time in Port Midpar, Patrin would have went ahead with the guards, maybe a few hours before you guys left town. And it probably would have taken you guys a better part of the day, and then a few days of travel to get to Kulaxum. So eventually you guys come into...
We unironically outpaced them with Kothar's double travel pace.
Yeah, I know.
Just passed by on the road. I can't imagine what that looks like. Like you're just like your feet are flat on the ground and you're just like alt-tabbing across the fucking grass.
Yeah, it's like you're on a moving walkway, but there's no moving walkway.
Yeah, just like...
I mean, if we bought horses for a cart and we equipped the horses with the horseshoes, we could unironically travel 3 days worth of travel in one day.
Can you imagine the cart? The cart's not levitating, so it's just. That'd be the fucking worst.
We spent a lot of money on the cart. Listen, the suspension is phenomenal. It's riding on air.
I have
like
been
a
holding
Rolls,
on to
baby.
these for 3 days.
It's like a Rolls.
Scott.
So we can RP this, or we can just skip to the part where you guys go to inquire about real estate, and I will give you what they have, their offers.
What are we looking at?
Give us the good bits. Big business.
Well, as you guys go, you
Big
would meet
business.
with Lady Ingrid, who is the local tax collector and real estate agent in the Zartalos Empire in the capital of Kulaxum.
What is she? 90?
No, she is 43.
Her name like Ingrid?
The first,
She is.
I think
As
it's
soon
kind
as
of
you guys-
cool.
as soon as you guys begin inquiring about real estate, she begins running through some like lower end houses, like in some of like the different areas of the city of Kulaxum. And as you guys are seeming uninterested about these, she begins going, well, we can RP this part if you guys would like, but I have a few houses here in the city, ranging from any manner of small little shacks up to a villa, depending on your guys' price range.
What do you have in the, let's say, keep range?
So your
If I
eyes
wanted
kind of
something
widen.
fortified.
Her eyes kind of widen, and then she like takes the book that she was like scrolling through, puts it away, and pulls out like another smaller book and pulls it open, and there's like very few things written in it. Well, we have one that is north of the city that is currently vacant. I also have, it's not necessarily a keep, it's more like a, well, it's a private island. I have two places that come to mind. The first is Equay Island, a private island off the coast of Baldenport. It contains two masterfully built villas. Each has 3 master suites, a study, a common room, a kitchen, a dining hall. It also comes with a large personal study, a tower, an observatorium. It has a personal harbor that can house 3 ships comfortably,
Jesus
maybe a couple
fucking
more.
Christ.
And the island is
This is
surrounded
Ibiza?
by a coral reef that creates calm water beaches and a nice area for those that enjoy some light fishing.
Does it come with an M1 Abrams tank as well? Fuck.
The second one,
I'd like to see it.
a bit more pricey, but this, if you're looking for a keep, is the best. This is Whitestone Keep. It is about 2 hours travel north of the city of Kulaxum. It sits on the river and has access to both the sea and the bays down here on Lake Elqui. The main building is a keep which has 34 rooms, varying in different sizes. It has 4 personal studies, a dungeon that comes fully equipped to house 34 prisoners comfortably. It sits on the lake, which has its own personal harbor and can house a total of 11 warships, and it comes with its own warship, a sailing ship, and 1 fishing vessel. It is a dry dock system for those that are aspiring shipwrights, or if you wish to hire your own. It has its own lighthouse that sits on the harbor. A personal grove on the outsides of the city creates a great place for those that want to connect with nature. It has a crystal clear pond that sits in the center with these emerald waters that almost glitter from the sunlight. It needs a little tending to, but with the right hand, it would be a beautiful garden. In the center town, there stands a 90-foot tall tower that stands about 50 feet above the 30-foot exterior walls of the keep grounds that can see for all miles around. There are 3 guard towers equipped with large ballistas and cannons at all advantageous points along the wall, fit for helping keeping your keep guarded. There is a large barracks and / guardhouse that comes fully equipped to house a militia of up to 50 soldiers.
Jesus Christ.
Each house, there's varying different houses of sizes and villas and taverns that are currently vacant, but you can accommodate up to 750 people comfortably within your keep's grounds. And a gorgeous cathedral in the center, next to where an open-air market would be set, that has the most beautiful stained glass windows. At the front, you have a main gatehouse where you can house up to 10 guards. This gatehouse also connects to your walls, in which your guards can go for patrol. Do either of those interest you?
I'd like to have a shack, please.
You said it was pricey.
Well, the Whitestone Keep is 750,000 gold. And if you'd like to put 100,000 gold on top of that, we will vet and fully manage for you with tavern keeps, militia, shipwrights, farmers, whatever you need.
Are there any, so it's income producing property, right?
If you wish it to be, if you wish to invite people to visit.
I mean, no, but it's income producing, right? So there's farms and things like that. So if
Enough to self-sustain the whole place.
What's the acreage like? Is there any what about the mineral rights? Are there mineral rights that come with the deed, or?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Fane doesn't really know about all that stuff.
Avery does. Avery wants
I know
to
he does.
Tell me about the mineral rights, man.
Yeah, you're not getting nothing.
We found oil. Fire it up,
So,
boys.
it could. Oh, there's a lot of money. But having your own town sounds gangster.
I mean,
Can you imagine? You just make the rules.
it does sound like a full-on town.
Doesn't sound too bad.
How much is the island? Because the island sounded nice.
The island is more private and does not offer as many amenities, but it is 500,000 gold pieces.
It's an island. It's not as close to town either. That's tougher.
That depends. I'll kind of just turn to them all. Do we really have that much of a connection with this city? I mean, if it's an island out on the coast, we can go wherever we want.
We could also.
But I don't know anything about this, Fane, but if the other one has the capability of making an income, maybe we do have a chance to help other people's lives.
The Keep's harbor also has access to the open sea.
Oh shit! Okay,
You just take the river straight up north through the mountains.
It seems like the difference is one is a real place, and then the other place is a millionaire's mansion across the sea, like a vacation home, right?
I'm in favor of the first one, personally.
The scholar chimes in and says, and teleportation circles can be installed. If access
Easy
is
enough.
Ether, I'd imagine.
It is yours to do with what you wish. And if you'd like, we can, like I said, the 100,000 gold to man it. If you wish to have mages to man part of your small abode, we can factor that in. And maybe you don't need nearly as many shipwrights, or maybe you don't need nearly as many soldiers, and we sub in mages for whatever you need.
I mean, the way I see it, it's 100,000 from each of us, assuming we can find some way to pawn all this art. That's fully stocked. Otherwise, it's 80,000.
750,000. Sorry.
That's
I guess, Liz, when you said the first one, you meant the castle, like the full-on city, right? Not the private island.
Not the private island, the first one that
Okay.
you talked about.
She talked about the island first.
She talked about the island first. That's
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nope, it's all good.
The keep was just much more in depth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
I don't care. We can buy a whole fucking city if y'all want. Doesn't bother me. I'm sure it'll end up making money while we're away.
You don't have to
I mean,
man it. The option's just there.
That's what I'm saying. Is it could we don't have to. I'm guessing the assumption, Matt, is that we won't have to put gold into it. It'll just kind of be its own thing. It'll
I'm
be able to
hoping,
cover.
I'm hoping for $100,000, 100,000 gold in manning costs. We don't have a lot of upkeep for a while at least.
Yeah, in black and white, you guys are not gonna have a lot of upkeep. But what I'll have you do is, for how much downtime you guys take, we'll roll X amount of times, like basically one time per month on a random table, and it's basically like did something bad happen this month? You guys have to handle.
That's fair.
Nothing bad ever happens in Fantasyland.
Perhaps give us a couple days. Let us decide. We'll come back. But I think we're leaning towards the second. So
Should I have them tidy up then, and perhaps you guys would like to take a tour?
sure, we can come back in 2-3 days and take a tour. I'd love that. What about anyone else? Do some
For sure.
shopping in the meantime.
Yes.
I wanted to inquire if there was any small parcels of land or like a mainly land lot with a small building near town for sale.
There's plenty of places near town.
And how much would they cost?
It depends. How small are we talking?
Maybe like an acre or whatever the term would
Like a
be
small
for this world.
cottage and...
Not necessarily a cottage, like not for living in. I was hoping to start up something. But I mean, I suppose a house could be cleared out.
Depending on the size or the land and how close you'd like it to be to town, it varies. You could give me some more information. I
Fairly
could give you a more
close to
accurate price.
town.
Like in the city,
Fairly
outside
close
the
to
city.
town. Maybe in the city, but on the outer edge.
I could get you a small cottage for 1,000 gold.
Does it come with land?
Comes with the land that the cottage is built on.
Well, yes, but is it about an acre?
No, it's more like just the house.
Oh, I would need a bit more room than that.
You're going to be hard pressed to find acreage within the city walls. Without
I mean, I
spending a
suppose
hefty
it could
sum.
be outside. I suppose it could be outside of town, just close to town.
I could get you a small half-acre plot of land with a cottage for 500 gold. Outside the city, maybe a few miles.
Do you have anything slightly larger than a cottage with that much land?
Steer starts scrolling through a book. Not close to the capital.
I suppose the building could be renovated. Is there any type of business license would need?
Depends on what you're trying to do.
Well, I was hoping to set up I'm not sure what the right word is, but a meditative place that also teaches martial arts. People can pay and come and have guided meditations, and they can also take martial arts lessons. A little room for sparring outside with like a Zen garden and maybe some combat mats inside.
I could set up something like, or I could get you a piece of land to set up something like this.
That would be perfect.
Well, I could get you maybe like a wooden cottage on a half-acre of land just a couple miles outside of town. 2 stories. Is that okay?
That should be fine. You said 500?
500 gold.
Yeah. And I'll give her 500 gold.
I will draft up the paperwork, and I will have someone here within the day or two to escort you to where your land and your new business shall be located.
Thank you. Kida, I may need your help with some of the land working to create the Zen garden outside.
I would be delighted to create a Zen garden for you.
Maybe surround it by like really thick trees so that you can't hear the combat training on the other side of the yard.
I absolutely feel like I could do that. 100%. I'm there.
You can speed up the growth of trees, but you can't just poof trees.
Says you.
Not with that attitude.
Oh, I
Not
some
that
big
attitude.
trees.
Or we can
No, I
plant
was
them,
thinking
you
more
know,
like those
eventually.
like cypress trees, like the
Ooh,
skinny, tall,
I
pointy
like
ones
that.
that are like
Yeah.
in Italy. Yeah,
I
like
like
a bunch
that.
of those with like a little waterfall and a koi pond, some benches.
You could do one of those like meditative walking gardens where it's like a path that you follow and it leads you back all the way out.
Some
I
like
got you.
stepping stones.
Ooh,
We could hire somebody like twice a day to come cast silence on the Zen garden so that no sounds could be made in it.
that's genius. And I love it.
Yeah, you just walk in, all you can hear is from your own heartbeat. Sounds horrible.
Would your heart still make a sound if in silence?
You can
Vibration.
feel your
That sounds like an emo song, Matt.
Vibration. Ask a deaf person.
My heart only makes vibrations.
Would your heart still make a sound in silence? By Fall Out Boy, a song by Panic at the Disco.
Heart!
Well,
So I guess I need to look for somebody to run my martial arts studio and Zen garden while I'm away too. Need to find a good manager.
you guys have a few days to yourselves if you wish to do any shopping before going to take your tour of the keep.
Zach, will you like set aside the 850,000 like as money and then tell us what there's left over that after that?
Yes, Kothar was going to spend his handful of days trying to pull as much rank as he possibly could, to get into as many bougie places as he possibly could, to sell rare, never before seen Oldenheim art from the man who slayed Zeltroy.
Want to help?
And Fane has some 25 pounds of dragon scales to sell. Which I feel like it's got to be worth a little bit.
Which
To
I
the red
imagine
bar?
we can just kind of, I don't know. Kothar's just trying to sell the 300,000 gold pieces worth of art that he's carting around to pay for his home.
Go ahead, roll a persuasion check at advantage for the art.
Can I help him? Well, I guess
That advantage.
That advantage.
Yeah, right.
Oh, neither of those were super good. 16?
As you're meandering through the more expensive areas, throwing around your new rank, but catching a few questions or glances from people that are like, never heard of you before. Who are you? Like, how did you get that rank? You know, did you steal this off a dead body sort of thing? But eventually enough people let you in and you begin to start basically just showing off a few pieces. I kind of imagine you'd start off with like some of the more ornate pieces, like some of the more fancy stuff, just to like draw in a crowd. And eventually you've got a bunch of basically rich people that are just sitting around wanting to toss their coin at you. And you can sell in a couple of days of going around and doing this about 190,000 gold pieces worth of your art. But after that, most people are cleaned out of their spare change.
Spare change.
You know, Kothar, if we go to Drakenford, we make a trip of it, there's places there to sell some as well.
Sure.
Definitely.
Outside of character, it's entirely possible the Empire might take the art and trade. Whether they have their own art museums and shit like that they want to stock up, etc. I mean, art is a prized commodity amongst the governments and civilizations. I don't know. Not
We can offer it when we talk about the cost of things.
Sure.
Fuck that. Let's hang it up in our house.
Aside.
Seriously.
So
we need
yeah,
to,
yeah.
Unfortunately, we need to use it to pay.
So even without that, everyone has at least 50,000 gold that they can play with without even touching the keep money.
God, 50,000. That's so pedestrian, though.
So that's 50. So if Fane isn't withdrawing any, so it's 50,000 apiece, 250 out of the party fund.
Yeah, that's 50. That's 50,000 for Scholar, Kothar, who has already started spending his. Like, I've been tracking what Kothar is spending of his chunk.
So we just say everybody has 50,000. Like,
I mean,
right
Fane has his 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So just so that we can track it and not get totally goosey fucked, so 250,000, or except for Kothar's piece, comes out of the party fund, goes to everybody, and then we figure out the rest of the details later.
Yeah, that'd still leave us 111 from every 118 from every person that I have previously done, plus the 190 that we just sold in art.
Okay. Hold on.
This is like a shopping episode on steroids.
So I'm keeping track of the total tally. So that puts us with the 190,000 sold. That's 1,030,000 in cash. So if we take away 50,000 for each, that leaves us 780,000 in cash, with 110,000 in GP in art left.
Yes, plus 10,000 gold pieces worth of gems. An additional 15,000 gold pieces worth of silver that I did not factor in. 12,000 in diamonds that we are not touching, and then
So that's
literally chump change and pearls.
Sure. So the cash and cash equivalents are whatever that number was, 890,000 after everybody gets their 50,000.
Yeah, we're at 780 after everyone has their 50,000. Yes.
Okay. Scholar is going to do the happiest shopping trip of his life. And by
Samira will go with you.
By the way, for Scholar, you have gotten an innumerable amount of people that have approached you and asked who your creator was, what made you, how do you work, what are you, and then just people that are just staring on from a distance, like, confused.
unless there was like a particularly aggressive one, Scholar would explain it in full, just very matter of factly, like to every single person who came by.
I mean, no one's too like aggressive or like being an asshole about it. There's just people that are confused, and then there's people that are amazed.
I would go into like the minutia of it. I would like explain like technology. I would do the whole thing like very, very bluntly and matter of factly.
And then people would stare at you more confused and walk away.
Just how Scholar likes it. But Scholar is going to buy about 10 pounds of platinum ore. I'm sorry, hold on, I have my list somewhere.
You have that in coin.
Yeah, we have 10 pounds of platinum in coin.
But platinum is mixed. Like I assume it's like either like mixed. I'm assuming it's not pure platinum, but just for the sake of having like a stock of craftable. Okay, I'll melt down the coins.
No, I don't know anything about coinage. Just
Yeah, I
what
don't
showed
know.
before.
I need about 100 pounds of magnetic iron. I need and then a ferrous metal of a ferrous metal of the opposite polarity. About 100 pounds of that. Basically like a stockpile of various craftable metals.
Okay, well,
And then
magnetic metals, like a
Uh-huh.
metal that's already been magnetized, you're not going to find in the Zartos Empire.
with metals with natural magnetic
Yeah, just ferrous metals.
ferrous metals, right? And just with different polarities, because I can probably work out the electricity if I need to do something funny, but just magnetically charged metals.
You know, I may be putting my foot in my mouth here, but I also work in the metal industry, and to my knowledge, metals do not come with their own polarity without being magnetized.
Now I know. Then I will take just ferrous metals, like 100 pounds of ferrous metals.
Yeah, I mean, you can just go to like a couple of the different blacksmiths and just buy them out of all of their ingots, basically.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And then a lot of copper, like 100 pounds of copper.
But just roll a d20 for me.
Sure.
Are you trying to find monopole like metals?
It's for a project. I don't know what a monopole metal is though.
A metal with just one charge?
I could explain it, what I'm going for, but it'll be better if I just show you later. Matt, that's a 6.
Not able to find 100 pounds worth of copper.
It's not the most important piece of the equation.
You're able to get more like 40 pounds?
40 pounds? Okay.
He's like, I'll just work around it.
Well, it's more like that's just extra like stockpile, right?
Like you've already bought out essentially
Indeed.
all the iron and most of the platinum from all the blacksmiths in town, and now you've
telling me
cleared them
there's
out of their copper.
40 pounds of copper in the Colaxum?
Copper
That's like-
is not like in ingot form is not something you find
Fair.
easily.
I guess the iron and stuff would be easier, but that's okay. So the next thing would be Aether. He wants, after seeing the Aether battery and the pylons and all of that shit. Well, not the pylons necessarily, but I want to try and find as much Aether as I can get my hands on.
You would know that Aether itself in its raw state is not openly sold. It's more like something you have to find or have access to. You have to mine yourself. The people that have access to it are organizations that have contracts with the Empire to go out and mine it. And you can find, let me put it this way. Scholar can find it on the black market, but it's going to take him some time, more than a couple of days to locate.
Okay, so if that's the case, I'd like to find a Tinker's Guild that may potentially have access. If I find out that, or something like that, I just want to try and find somebody who has Aether.
Yeah, I mean, you can, spending enough time here, you can basically find a guild hall for the Innovation Covenant out of Zakarat that's located within the capital of Kulaxum. Most of what they tell you is that they're still in negotiations with the capital of Kulaxum, but they're not making any headway to mine their own Aether here in the Zartalos Empire, because that doesn't happen until 5 years from now in Campaign 1.
I was just about to say, you can wait a couple years and ask Captain Breger, because he gets up to some shit in Campaign 1.
But what they do tell you is that they do have access to their own Aether mines in the Andala Republic, and that being a work of like a machination in yourself, like being a working, living, breathing robot in yourself, they are very welcoming to you and more than happy to bring you as a Nuon member of the guild and get you whatever you need.
Scholar will 100% accept that, and he will list his qualifications in detail. And then offer himself he will offer himself as a servant of the guild, but he will not have himself replicated or studied in any way. That's the right of the Warforged people.
Yeah, they're full on for that. They're just in amazement. Like they're tinkerers that are on like a high right now because they're seeing something that they've never even thought of.
I'll like throw them like a snippet. Like, yes, if you cross the wires here, you can create advanced whatever. I'll just throw them some like random next level shit just to give them something to drool over.
Easy enough to do.
I'll tell them about joints. I don't know. Yeah. Give them like some theory, some quantum theory, and just let them chew on that. And then I will request that they notify me we'll just tell them to find the robot if they can get me a shipment of Aether.
They would inform you that getting a shipment of Aether here is much harder than just you going to the Andala Republic to collect it yourself.
Understood. Okay, I'll keep an eye out, but I'll ask them to keep their ears open. But it's not the most necessary thing because they still have the Aether battery, so. But yeah, that's all I've got for Scholar. Is acquiring
a total
raw
of
materials.
Buying all of the iron, buying all the platinum ingots, the iron ingots, and then the 40 pounds of copper ingots is going to run you. Platinum themselves are going to cost a hefty amount. How much iron was it again?
100 pounds of just, it can be ore or ingots.
In total, it's probably going to run you like 3,000 gold pieces.
Okay. Could I throw in just like an extra 500 for like miscellaneous, just like materials like wood and just random shit?
Sure.
Okay. Awesome. And then the only thing Fane has is selling the dragon scales.
He could easily do. What color were they?
They were black and red.
To the right blacksmith or magic shop person, you could get 10 gold per scale.
How many scales per pound?
How many pounds do you have?
25 pounds.
Probably not that many. You probably get like 30 gold pieces worth. I mean,
30 gold pieces. Oh, fuck that. For dragon scales, I'll just keep them.
Okay. Dragon scales
cheap as
not light.
True, but for you know, when given the like opportunity to either use something with it or get 30 gold, I'll keep the scales.
Kothar would give him probably 100 gold if he was still looking to part with him.
I thought it was going to be like a lot more, like thousands of gold. I don't know what I had in my head, but
I have a small idea for him.
I'll toss him the satchel of scales. Well, maybe I can help. I do have a way with these things, but
I think they'd look kind of neat inlaid in a bar.
Hand them over.
I suddenly want a bar at my house with dragon scales as the topper.
Oh, not the whole topper. I have. We'll get to it.
Yeah, we will. All right. Does anyone have anything else they want to do in these couple days before you go visit your keep?
I do.
Go on, Emma.
You can go first, Akari.
Mine's short and simple, and we'll leave it at the end.
I want to do some shopping, and while I'm out, the first thing I want to look for is like a sculptor. Somebody who can make statues.
Okay. Easy enough to find.
Hello.
We can RP it if you want, or you can just tell me what you want so we can move along. It's up to you.
I want to commission a big statue for like the courtyard of my Zen garden that looks like Isembra.
Okay.
like a big one. Like 10 feet tall.
For 10 feet tall, made
Make
of
it
what?
a fountain.
Made of what?
What would you recommend as the artist?
White stone, marble, onyx.
How much would marble be?
Marble is going to be the hardest one. 10 foot tall. How detailed do you want it?
I want it to look like it could just wake up at any moment.
12,000 gold pieces.
How much for the white stone?
8,000 gold pieces.
What if we make it 8 feet tall?
7,000.
We don't need
gold
the extra
pieces.
hangers, baby. It's fine.
How much did you say?
7,000 gold pieces.
What if we call it 6,000 gold pieces and I give you this? And I will pull out my circus charm from Maisie and like hand it over like it is just a golden fucking goose egg.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, I'm so not good at those. That's a natural 1.
7,000 gold pieces.
Oh no. What if I give you a free membership to my Zen Garden and Martial Arts Studio?
I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
If we make it 6 feet tall, can we call it 5,000?
5,500.
Statues
Samira,
getting smaller and
but-
smaller.
Put the extra 2 feet on, and I'll kick in a couple thousand.
Statues getting smaller and smaller.
No. I didn't expect it to cost so much. I really want a big dragon statue in my courtyard. I didn't know it was going to be so expensive.
It's a hand-carved statue.
Yeah. Well, my house just cost me $500. Why would the statue cost
Wait.
more?
I have a question. I have
Statue's pretty
stone
dope.
shape. Can I sculpt things with stone shape?
Good question.
I was going to ask you to make the walls around it with your wall of stone and then like sculpt the walls, but I didn't think about you being
That
able
I
to do
could
the statue.
definitely do. Can I roll for it, Matt? Can I roll for realizing this while we are talking to the sculptor and price haggling?
You form it into any shape that suits your purpose.
It suits my purpose.
Sure, I'd say you could.
Zamira, we
But,
gotta go. We gotta
it
go right
can-
now.
You can only do it in 5-foot dimensions, so the tallest it can be is 5 foot.
Unless I make 2 5 feet, like a 3D printer,
And then, put
and then
it
it can be
together.
10 feet. Yeah,
Like the 3D.
And then you just have to stone shape the 2 pieces together in the middle. Like,
exactly. Or
putty.
glue. Or glue.
Oh,
That's a little cheap, though, don't you think?
Yeah, they didn't cast Greater
Maybe a
Restoration. Make it
nice
a real person.
ribbon. Maybe a nice ribbon.
Now you just need 3 like gigantic blocks of onyx that no one will ever be able to move, or marble. Sorry.
We're going mining.
Bedrock.
Would Zamir or would Kidai explain to me why we can go?
Zamira, just let me try. Just let me try it.
I mean, Kidai does. They don't even
Okay.
need the stone. Kidai can just summon the stone.
I want to like turn to the shopkeep and do like the pretty woman speech. You made a big mistake, huge, and I'll walk out.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
bye. He just like goes back to chiseling what he's already working on.
It's like a small business owner who's just like, you know what, that's too expensive. I'm gonna do it myself, and I'm gonna do it better.
Matt finally let me get away with something. Yay!
I didn't expect the statue to cost more than the land and the house.
Dude,
The
like a
house?
piece of art dragon statue?
$12.
That would,
I mean, I knew it wouldn't be cheap. I just didn't think it would be like that.
Houses
much.
have to be cheap enough that everyone can afford them. Dragon statues don't.
That's fair. That's fair. I just need my
What do you mean you
business to
didn't
be
take a mortgage out
fancy.
for a dragon statue?
All right, Akari, what was your thing you wanted to do?
I'm gonna try to keep this as simple as possible. What would it cost me to hire somebody on to basically follow me around and during my free time teach me this proficiency in medicine?
How many days do you want to take in it?
How many days does it take for me to get proficiency in medicine? These are the things that I don't know how to quantify. Like,
depends
can I
on
take a 30-day course and I get proficiency in D&D terms, or like?
It can work that way. It just depends on how much time per day you want to put into it. So if the guy's just following you around and in all your downtime, that's what you're doing. You could do it.
Well, let me do the second part then, and maybe you can circle back and tell me what the first part might cost.
Okay.
If that's okay, Scholar. I understand you're going to be busy with your whatever it is that I followed you around and you bought all that crazy stuff for. I was curious if you would humor me, and you might know me and my ability to pick it up better than. I was curious if you would teach me the language you were writing in.
yes. It would be quite easy, I think. It might take some time, but teaching wouldn't be necessary. I think with the right tools, it could be programmed in.
You referred to it as your or our language, but what does it mean?
It's a set of logic and rules, indications for meaning, broken down to their most basic variables. It's eminently interpretable because ultimately it's based in the common tongue. It's just the most simple version of the common tongue.
You think I would pick it up quickly?
It's not a language you necessarily learn, it's a language you speak. You just need to know what the words are. But DM, do I think I could program knowledge of binary into Akari's skull with the right amount of time?
With the right amount of time.
Okay, we'll follow up with my first part then. However much time that might take, would I reasonably be able to hire somebody to get proficiency in medicine, or are we crunching time too much?
You guys have technically as much time as you want to take to learn all these things, but to hire someone to come with you and basically go wherever you go for
30 days, which is our downtime.
Yeah, so 3-ish weeks. How much would it cost you?
I suppose I'll remind you, if it helps with the whole learning process, my favorite enemies are humans and elves.
Correct.
So humanoid anatomy, I have a pretty good understanding of already, per se.
How much is it going to cost you to pay them? Call it 10 gold a day. So if you go over 3 weeks, you're looking at like 200 gold.
Okay, I'll pay 210. I have acquired a medicine squire for 3 weeks.
I was gonna say, if you'd ask Koth, I would throw in hints here and there.
That could lower the time if Kothar takes some time to help him.
I mean, no, like just literally, like every once in a while, like look over, and be like, "That sucks. Do better."
There's the Air Force in you.
I'll tell you later.
Zamira had actually planned on asking Akari if he would work with her on helping her be proficient in stealth.
Just
Teach
skill
me how
central.
to be sneaky.
If it's within the times,
Guess
DM,
take
we'll
as
try.
much time as you want to learn a new skill, but every new skill, depending on what you bring to the table to already lower the time. Each new skill is going to take you a month of day-to-day learning to try and master. So
I
Akari's
do
is
have
shortened.
expertise in stealth, if that matters as far as teaching.
It doesn't matter as far
And
as
I have
teaching.
a 6 dex score.
That does not help you at all.
Oof.
Stealth
Just
is a
pay back for the
dex-based
statue.
score.
I understand that. That does not help you learn how to be stealthy, though.
What does?
Paying more people.
You can
More money.
spend time with Akari, but that takes time away from him learning his new skill. So he either has to take time to teach you, which takes his longer to learn, or you have to wait till his is done, and then you start yours, and then you can learn from him.
Well, can I just do what he did and teach some old monk man or some old rogue to come hang out with me and teach me every day?
You can
Stealth is a pretty
find
common skill.
stealth is not really a common skill that you can just find somebody that teaches it to you without knowing.
Because you can't find them because they're stealthy.
You could find and talk to a rogue you already know. I'm not going to remind you who they are, but you do know a rogue.
Isn't it that lady? Ezra?
Yes.
Isn't she a rogue?
You want to spend 30 days
Yeah.
with Ezra?
Deal.
She does.
Where did my finger go? Roll for stealth.
Deal. I'll find Ezra and ask her if she'll
Ezra
help me.
Finger, where are you?
Ezra
Sleight
will
of hand or
offer.
performance?
Ezra will offer to teach you for 10 gold a day.
Deal. So over the course of a month, that would be 300.
Correct.
Okay.
Is that?
Does
Can
anyone
I
else?
go?
Does anyone else want to tack on any other skills they want to learn?
I did have a thought that I just want to tack on real quick. I would like to get the name of the head tinker at the Innovation Covenant.
The head tinker at the Innovation Covenant, or the head tinker in the guild in the Zartalos Empire?
The Guild in the Zartalos Emperor. Like the best person to talk to, like my number one fanboy kind of guy.
Your number one fanboy. His name is Sato.
Sato with an S?
Yes.
I fucking like that name. I will tell Sato. Very briefly. No, I'll save it. I'll save it for after the keep.
Okay.
We're saving mining till after the keep as well, right?
Yeah.
Is there
After-
like a river nearby or?
There's a river that runs all the way up to the keep.
Cool. Can I look for? Well, one, I want to look for any gemstone, but I have a few in mind that I want to find. This one specifically, and I'll get into it later. It's what?
This is a large river, like about 3 times the width of the Mississippi.
Yeah, it'd just be like riverbanks is where
Okay.
you usually find these. It's a river rock called Euperlite, which sounds like I'm making up. I am not. If you Google it, it's very cool.
Make an investigation check.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Dice? Investigation. 16.
You can find some.
Yay! I want to take as much of it as my little pockets and my little bags can carry.
Okay.
And do it. Do I find any other like random gemstones, anything like that? Any
What else are you
interesting?
looking for?
So, okay, the ones I'm looking for specifically, and I don't know how much of this will be in the mines, but jade, obsidian, rutilated quartz, and moldavite.
Bro, that Moldavite.
You'll have to find that in the mines. You won't find that in a riverbank.
Okay. That's all.
Okay.
Make some good cheese. I'm gonna make some cheese. Find some wine.
You could easily find some wine. And having properly crafted wine, probably the best thing you've tasted in the last month.
I will share it and the cheese with my buddies.
I'll just eat the cheese.
Fane gets fucked.
Eventually, Ingrid meets and leads you guys on your 2-hour travel north of the city of Blaxam to your massive keep. Large 30-foot walls that kind of jut out, and even part of the wall extends into the river, kind of creating this small bay that is kind of locked in by the outer gates. The tall tower in the center, kind of towering above the walls, looking out in all directions. The large spires of the keep in the back, kind of framing the horizon. You can see that the back of the keep is built into kind of a cliffside to the left and comes out into the bay onto the right. You can see there is the grove on the far left end on the inside of the keep, and part of the trees. You can see the wall was built through this forest here. So part of the forest is kind of bisected by this wall. It looks unmanned. There are large banners of the Zartlas Empire hanging from the walls and the keep.
Gross.
She looks to all of you.
Those we can replace those, right? Like those.
Yeah,
don't-
you can place whatever you wish to have up there, and it is all included
Wonderful.
in your purchase. You will have a tailor craft your own
I
emblem.
didn't say
and have them
gross
put
in
up.
person or in character. I was just saying it outside of character.
Kothar would say that in character. Like, can we the decor needs a little spicing.
You may do with it as you wish. As we said, it's yours.
Matt, I'm looking at the map. You said it has ocean access?
The river runs
From-
through the mountains to the north.
Oh, so we could get to Loch Barley.
Yep.
Gotcha. Scholar will look and see if there is, like, the dungeon. What is the dungeon made of?
As you go down into the dungeon, there are 3 cells. Each have these shackles and manacles hanging from the walls and large iron bars that create these 3 different cells. Kind of like in a T shape.
How big is the room and how tall is the ceiling?
Ceiling's only about 7 foot tall, and the room's maybe 40 feet wide.
How deep underground? Could the ceiling be extended?
You mean the ground be extended? Because the ceiling being extended would be going
True.
into the floor above.
True, yeah. Could the floor be... is the floor, like, made of, like, whatever? It
The
could be done.
the floor is just hewn stone. If you dug it up and dug deeper, you could place more stone down.
Okay, cool.
She kind of walks you around. A few other things that I forgot to mention are here in the back of the keep, and she's like leading you guys like back up out of the dungeon and back through the keep, and she leads you back through the kitchen and back through the study that's kind of on the back end of the kitchen. This is one of the best amenities, and she like pushes open a door, and like as it pushes open, the smell of like steam and water begins to fill your nostrils. And as you guys begin taking a few steps downward, you eventually come to an underground hot spring that is built into the backside underneath the keep.
Zamir will just strip down and hop in.
Oh my god, we're on a tour, man.
Fane does it
just,
too.
as she like goes to hop in, she's like running across the water, and then bloop, falls in.
Looks
Gotta
to
test
see
the waters.
What the real estate agent lady's response to that is, and if she can follow, or would that be unacceptable?
Fane's
has
already
wished you
naked
tested out, go
and
ahead.
already in the water.
Oh my god.
The real
In the
estate
water.
agent's like, "Oh."
Oh. Well,
Please, all of you, test it out if you wish.
Come on, Kothar, pants off.
You'll find that the underground hot springs that are naturally fed here by the mountains are fresh year-round. It is always the perfect temperature.
Zamira, do you want to play chicken against Fane?
Yeah.
I love chicken. I love playing chicken.
Is that a piranha in the water? Or are you just happy to see me?
Oh my god.
Did it bite?
Okay, moving along. After you guys have your fun in the water.
I thought you might be able to feel it from there.
No,
I was about
moving
to, I was
along.
about to say
He
that
yells from
Kothar and
across the
Kedai
room.
beat the shit out of Fane and Zamira and Chicken.
No, I thought it was me and Kita
Didn't know you were
against
in the
Kothar
water.
and Fane.
Kothar gets in.
Oh, okay. then yeah.
Wait,
that's
thought
what
it
kind
was-
of chicken are we playing? Are we playing like chicken, like handsy chicken? Is that the game?
Yeah, like where you sit on somebody else's shoulders and
We
try to
gotta
knock them off.
do that, and then we
Oh.
gotta do boys versus girls.
And then
We
the
played
two
a
robot
different
boys can
game
play on
of
their
chicken.
own team.
We
They
played
can't get in the
a
water.
different
They can't get in
They'll
the water.
Yeah.
They'll rust.
They'll rust.
What if they put on their skin suits? Can they get in then or no?
Just do
Okay.
a hefty dose of
Okay,
WD-40.
moving along.
Wait, who wins chicken? How do we play?
Yeah, we need to know.
Oh my god.
Kothar wins
I want-
chicken. Let's just be honest here.
Kothar's on the bottom.
He has 29 strength. He's flipping any of
As
you guys
bottom.
just
as
by
he likes.
blowing in your direction.
Yeah, but the person on the bottom is not the one wrestling. They're just the ones holding the top person.
Yeah, but you're never knocking him over.
You just
I
have
could
to
drown,
pull off
he'd
the
be
person on the top.
You can't even drown him. He's gonna hold his breath for an hour.
Gothar's built like a brick shithouse. He's built like 6 pails of water next to each other, lined
said
up. You can't knock
I
that
could
boy
drown and he would still be up.
Oh yeah.
He's like completely oblivious. It's like, well, it's fine. I'm winning.
But she leads you around, shows you the grove, the emerald waters, the cathedral in the center, which currently has the wooden doors with iron accents on the front with a symbol of Magus the Creator burned into it. If this is not your forte, we can have this removed, and whatever deity you guys wish can be added back in. It is just the previous owner's choice.
He had shitty taste.
I have no opinion one way or the other.
We could turn it into a brothel.
I think that might be just a tad worthy of a smite.
You want to get smoked?
It's not your god,
Midgen?
Kothar.
No, not from me.
We'll workshop it.
But eventually,
circle back.
she leads you guys down to the docks, which has the massive dry dock building, where it pulls the ships out of the water and then with a hinge and pulley system lifts the ship up into a dry dock where it can be worked on from all corners and areas, as well as
Every crevice.
the large warship, a small fishing vessel, and a small sailing ship built for speed that are currently built in the dock, all of which come fully equipped and fully stocked with the keep.
Ooh.
Dibs on that ship.
Is
There's
there room enough in the yard for like a Witcher style like acrobatics course with like the spinny things and the hoppy things and the swinging things?
Could have one built.
Damaris, we
Nice.
put in a tightrope for you.
Yeah, we can add it into the acrobat combat course that I want to build.
Would you guys? Well, I mean, assuming we go through with the purchase, what are you guys going to name your vessels?
Amelia.
Wonderful. Which one, and what are the other two?
I said I want the worship, but I don't really need it. But just call it Amelia and I'll be happy.
The Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria.
Absolutely not.
I think the Mayflower would be a good one for the second ship.
Ingrid kind of
And
butts
then
in. So are you guys interested and like to place your payment?
I think we're interested. I do
Let's
have
hand
a-
this woman 850,000 gold pieces.
also,
and
I'm
everyone
gonna
will
look at
fight
her. I'm gonna look at her. Fane will look at her very specifically and say, "I'm going to speak for my friends here and say that they're interested, but as a woman of business sense, you know that this thing is not going to move. So do something for us on the price."
Make a persuasion check.
Make a sexy check.
I'm
Make sure
going
to flex at her.
I'm gonna use the glamour weave and commanding presence.
Really tack it on.
Does she like to be dominated?
No.
So she's
So
Some
that's
in
a-
presence, though.
That's
So
a
she's
13 plus.
I have a thing that allows me to re-roll persuasion checks once
Say
per day. Can I use
20
that to give him advantage?
21.
Price is 750 gold pieces and 100,000 to
Nice.
man it per year.
Per year?
100,000 gold pieces
Oh.
per year to fully man it.
Sure.
You can make that own money yourself. But for you guys
oh,
and a date, as she eyes Fane, I will do it for 700,000 gold.
that's a 50,000 gold piece date, brother. Yo,
That's 100,000 gold piece date off the
think you're putting
800,000
out,
we were gonna
Faye.
spill.
I put my hand in hers and I say, deal.
You already
I
seen
would
what
have done
Fane
the
was
date
backing.
for free.
oh my gosh.
Zamira's gonna turn around and do like the grade school, like put her arms behind her back and like.
I do have one request for that. If you guys are going to man it, I'd like to have my own room at one of the ends. To come and visit whenever I wish.
Oh, she's trying to be a stage 5 clinger.
The tax collector's doing a bit of business on the side, I think. Can I speak for the group on this one?
Joel,
The answer is obviously yes.
I was gonna say it's nice of you to ask for once.
That's a good point.
The town's really changed you, Fane.
I'm a little more considerate, I suppose. But still just as beautiful. And I'll wink at Ingrid. Is she pretty?
She's
A tax collector.
Let me
She
go
doesn't-
back. Hold on. Let me go
He
back
said
to
she
my.
was in her 40s. That's like
She's
MILF.
43.
That's prime MILF age.
Yeah, like it's not. This isn't. I'm not judging. I'm just asking.
Ingrid
like,
has soft gray eyes and a round face with dark blonde, like dirty blonde hair that is kind of pulled back into a bun. She wears essentially a long, flowing blue dress with like a shawl, gray over shawl that she kind of pulls over. She is she is attractive in her own right, but not like your typical like drop dead gorgeous sort of woman.
She's like a 5 or a 6 kind of thing. Like,
Sure.
Average, slightly above average kind of thing.
I don't know, Scoob. Did you hear the blue dress?
It's whenever that comes up, Fane is going to make her feel special and cherished.
Whenever her
And
dress comes up, Fane's gonna make her feel special.
Whatever to give. I don't know if we're gonna roleplay the date.
We're not.
We'll
We're
talk
not.
about it later. But Fane will be a gentleman.
Can we have just one full episode that is that date? Like it's a 4-hour-long date and you guys just go on a date and we all get to watch, please?
No.
I
Absolutely
have so
not.
many channel points, Matt. I have so many channel
I'm
points.
sorry, Liz.
Does she have any baby daddy drama? Like, are we gonna have some random dude come try to kick in our keep door?
You have no idea.
That's a good point.
I'll kill him.
That's also a good point.
She's a tax collector. You take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Whatever we can is when it comes to it. I'll describe what I take on, like what I do for the day, not in detail.
Sure.
Maybe a little detail.
So
You need to write like Fane romance novels.
I assume you guys are making your purchase then.
700,000 gold, yeah.
700,000 gold. You guys have. Give me a second here and go back to my list. And apparently I closed the tab. There it is. Sorry.
That's 16,000 back to everyone else. By the way.
So 16,000 on top of what?
The
So
50.
everyone
Mhm.
has 66,000.
Okay.
minus whatever you've spent. That's 16,000
that's-
after we throw it back.
That's without consideration for Fane, correct?
Yeah, that came out of just straight Kothar's. Yeah, so that's
Gotcha.
66,000 for everyone, and then we still have. Everyone put that in theirs because I'm about to delete the line in my inventory that has the amount of gold we had.
Okay.
Done.
Is she gonna take me to see my cottage?
No, she just said she'd have somebody take you to see it. In your couple of days that you had shopping, they would have taken you out and shown you it.
Oh. So the paperwork's done and all that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So you guys have right off the bat with your 100,000 to fully man it for a year, you have a 50 militia you have a 50 soldier militia that mans the walls and the front gate and the keep on a day-to-day basis. And you have 50 other, depending on how you guys want to split them up, you guys can decide this offline and tell me, but you have another 50 amount of shopkeeps, tavern owners, fishermen, shipwrights, mages, however you guys want to split them up. Depends on, what kind of income or what kind of amenities your keep and your small village offers you. But you have 50 people that you can decide.
Do we really need that many people?
Joel, I mean, we don't need a tavern owner because Kothar will take over the tavern.
Well, there are multiple taverns inside the keep's walls that are unmanned, but you guys can man them if you'd like for visitors to come and take care of.
Kothar would look for whichever one would have the most area out of the rear of the building because he wants to build kind of a beer garden in the back.
The most junk in the
You can easily find one.
Wonderful.
But after your transaction is done, about a day's worth of paperwork that is excruciating for all of you to sit around and sign the innumerous amount of papers and documentation for the Zartlas Empire, between designing and having commissioned your guys' emblem for your banners to be hung, naming your keep, naming your vessels.
We have to get a different name for this keep.
How about Black Ore Keep? Blackrock?
Blackrock Keep?
I mean, it was called
Blackrock.
Whitestone. What if we just call it Blackrock?
What if we called it something cool, though?
Oh,
We can
like
workshop it.
BlackRock.
Blackrock?
You know,
Maybe
like they
like-
kind of had it.
Don't
And
say
it was
that
like
10 times fast.
Blackrock.
like listen, like they had it as Whitestone, and like that's cool, but like
It was named Whitestone because the keep is made of white stone.
yeah, but like we could
That's
do better.
funny.
You know what I'm saying? Like
What if we called it the Castaways Cove?
I was thinking
Castaways
the
Cove.
same thing.
done.
Kind of like it.
You don't like it?
No, I said I kind of like it.
Oh,
You guys do have 3 vessels to name, though.
Nah, we'll worry about that later.
We have to
When
put
we-
it on the paperwork.
What if
Oh.
we named them each after the 3 original dragons? Altosia, Zeltroid, and the dead one.
By Solidar.
You
Yeah.
not a bad idea.
I mean, but 2 of them are dead, so like who gets the smallest boat?
Zeltroid.
Probably Zeltroy. What a bitch.
Altosia just to piss her off.
To match his wingspan.
I mean,
Swear
it's
to
a
God,
fishing vessel,
I'll
so-
bring him back just to smite you.
Is the fish? I mean, the fishing vessel's what, like 18 feet long, so like it's wider than his wings.
Is there a dinghy?
The
Can I throw
biggest
a
one
twig?
can be
You saw the
Altosia.
dinghy
Yeah.
in the steam bath.
Yeah, so the dinghy in the Black Rock.
Zeltroy's got a-
Altosia can be the biggest one.
rubber ducky that I used in the bath.
I did lay claim to Amelia, but maybe if you just name something Amelia, I don't know. It's
What if we name one of the bars or the taverns Amelia?
I
Amelia's
like Amelia
place.
for a boat, though.
Amelia's
I feel
secret.
like it.
that's so perfect you don't even know, Kothar. Amelia's secret. What if the sailing vessel was Amelia's secret?
Sure, I'm alright with that.
Amelia's secret Zeltroy's Grudge.
Ooh,
And Altosia's gifts, since she gave us all boons.
love it.
Which one's which?
Deltroy's Grudge,
I
I
don't
think, is the smallest of
The
the
fishing
the
vessel?
fishing vessel is the fishing vessel I think is Zeltroy's Grudge. The sailing ship I think is Amelia's Secret, and then the warship is Altosia's Gifts.
Got it.
I love it.
Okay, I just want to be clear. What was the sailing time? Like 2 days? If we went in the past 6 days from owning 0 boats to owning, or 1 boat to owning now 6 boats.
You have 4.
4.
Yeah, that's, well, but one that we
Yeah,
could
the-
easily call a favor on at any time.
the
of the year.
math-
we have a
the math checks
veritable
out.
fleet. We have a veritable fleet.
We have 2 warships. We have
whole
arguably
village.
what? There's 3 countries on this map. Matt, we arguably have the 4th largest navy on the entire map.
It's true.
Hell yeah, brother.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Scholar, so once the paperwork is done, I don't know if there's another piece to go to before this, but Scholar will send a message to Sato
Okay.
and request his presence and perhaps about 6 summer interns to
They getting
learn.
paid?
They're getting room and board.
Oh.
And the opportunity to learn in exchange for helping Scholar build a lab.
Is one of your interns Monica Lewinsky?
There is a
Oh
unmanned
my
observatorium that
God.
you could just take over.
I need something blast proof.
Boy.
That's what she said.
Oh, well,
The observatory could be commissioned into something as well, and probably should in time, but the first priority is like a functioning lab.
let's make a science
like-
center.
So, and Scholar does have access to stone shape, so he could probably pretty easily like lower the floor by about 6 feet in the dungeon, if it's okay with the party that he takes over the dungeon. But
Kothar has no need for it.
he would he would request the interns, and then request.
Can Kothar even fit down the stairs to get to the dungeon?
Very uncomfortably.
It's a tight squeeze.
Yeah, it's not like
Kothar just needs like a 10 by 10 foot square on the side. Don't worry about it.
Totally noted. But yeah, that's Scholar's request. Is the duly noted means yes. Zach, sorry.
That's not what that base is for. You're fine.
Sorry. So he'll request a bushel of summer interns on the understanding that they'll get to learn from
A bushel?
Scholar.
A bushel of interns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're like wheat.
He'll send them in due time.
A
So-
bushel of interns.
You guys take a few days to get settled into your new home. You have your 50 militia. You guys can decide at a later date your 50 other people. I'm actually going to give you guys a document that kind of lists out what each person you can take out of those 50 does and what they would offer to your small town. So you guys can kind of economy sim this a little bit and kind of figure out your best way you want to run it.
Can I assign one of them to go work at my place?
If you absolutely want to, go for it.
Theft.
Not if it's bringing business. I can
Fraud,
just,
waste, and
buy it.
abuse.
I love that you could have
Breaks
just
of
built
nepotism.
this building on the edge of the town that we just bought. And
Well,
now you
I
have a
didn't
business.
know.
He told us the
We
description.
talked
were
about
buying-
building or buying a town before you talked about buying a 1 acre plot of land.
Half acre.
Yeah, but this is like in the big town, so it gets more foot traffic.
You're like 3
And
miles
still it would
outside
be
of
a
town.
Bringing money into our keep.
You've got the land, do as you will, but if you take one of those 50 people, I'm going to cut you. Pay for your own damn employees.
You have 66,000 gold.
Yeah. It's like literally a copper a day for like a dusty
I
old
don't know.
man to man the
People
fort.
are expensive. They might be as expensive as a statue, you know? People are expensive. Oh.
But after you guys get settled into that, you get everything figured out. You guys have an undetermined amount of downtime. So we're getting close to the end of the session here. Let's run through one by one each character, what you want to accomplish in this downtime. What's your character doing during it? We'll start at the top, Lissa.
Alrighty. Okie dokie. So, I definitely want to help Kothar kind of get into the bar headspace. He's got a couple ideas for that I'll let him get into, but I think that I can help with. Is there like some sort of place to do research near us? Like
Oh yeah. Dagarth Academy is only a couple days travel away.
Perfect. I would like to spend a little bit of time trying to learn what I can about the Fae King. Try to rope Akare in with that.
You mean about the Vernon King?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, I wrote Fae King in my notes, but yeah, the Vernon King. And come up with ideas about designing specifically a trap for him, not necessarily killing him, and maybe talking to the group about trying to unite the druids that we've met against him if it comes down to it.
Okay.
Kind of enlisting the help of everybody that would also want him out of the world. The idea for the trap, I was reading about the Fae Kings and everything, and it said that they are very to their own, wants, needs, desires, all that. And I was thinking maybe he's kind of vain, so maybe like some sort of mirrored trap, like mirrored on the inside, based on like sacred geometry, I felt like would make sense. But that's not like a right now thing. That doesn't have to happen right now. That's just my plan for this month, like trying to research and figure things out. The other thing, with going to the mines, definitely want to look for diamonds, as many as we can, obviously. And then looking for other gemstones in addition. I can spend my own time there instead of just, looking for diamonds. But my plan is, and this is going to be a talk with UDM. You don't need to answer me right now, but what I want to do, and I asked Scholar to help me on this, I want to find gemstones that correlate with certain meanings. So for example, I have currently, let's say, a sapphire. Sapphires hold a lot of wisdom. I was thinking maybe we could find a way. You know how there are rings that hold spells, right? Yep. I want this thing to hold a spell. I want it to be similar to luck, but only because sapphire is wisdom related, for wisdom rolls. So I want them to have luck essentially for wisdom rolls if they have this thing. And my plan is to get different gemstones of different types correlated to divination, wisdom, intelligence, everything. One for each skill or whatever. Shape them into, just beautiful, lovely little seven shapes that can be used, like I said, for divination, gaming even. I want to make D&D dice. I want to sell D&D dice in D&D.
And Scholar's going to craft them.
I love it. Yeah, I'll get back to you on making your gemstone dice in D&D.
Okay. I have some notes for it too. I've got one for each skill, so we can go from there. But that was my idea. That's what I would like to do, and what I would like to do after, Kidai and Akare kind of finish their aligned goals.
Yeah. So
other than that, yeah, just help Kothar with the bar until then. I'd like to think about setting up potential, like Scholar said, portals and teleportation circles and things, so that if we ever do split up, we can all make it back to the same place. But that doesn't need to be a now thing.
Okay.
And in Kothar's beer garden, I don't want to give too much away, but he has told me, like, I think I'm growing some stuff there.
Sounds like a plan.
And helps Mira with her garden as well.
Zamira, go next.
Obviously I'd work with Ezra on becoming proficient in stealth. I'd find somebody to be like the manager, I guess, of my establishment, which I will call Zamira's Zen. And I'll get Keyed to like have some big stone walls around it that have like dragon engravings on them, and then like the big Isembra statue in the middle. And on one side is like a bunch of cypress trees with like a little stepping stone garden and a bridge over like a little koi pond with a waterfall. And on the other side is like a outdoor sparring area, and on the inside is kind of like a training gym.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd work on getting built like the Witcher training course at our keep. And if I had any extra time, I would discuss with Akari the tip that he'd gotten or heard in like session 3 on where we could look for the second orb and see if I could do any digging on the other 2.
Oh, that's somewhere in my notebook, probably somewhere. Ages ago.
Yeah, I think I had somewhere in mine too, but all my
It's only
notebooks
been a
are
year.
kerfuffled and jumbled right now. I mean, you don't have to pull it up right now.
I'll see if I can find something on it. I genuinely don't remember anything.
I remember it was something about a boat.
Was it the Sanguine Rift? The boat that I encountered, Matt?
I think so.
That is the boat in which you encountered.
Right.
Yeah.
Sanguine Rift is the ship of the people who I think I had described attacked my tribe,
Correct.
but we ended up hunting them back to the coast and they took off from there.
Yeah, I would just do any digging I could into that in whatever free time I had left.
Scholar / Fane.
Scholar will endeavor to build his lab with the help of the interns, creating a number of workbenches, a copper-lined sort of amphitheater, if you will, for like the dangerous crafting, with like a dead-end like blast chamber for target practice and explosions and stuff like that, and create the lab down in the dungeon, and then begin working on the Devastator, as we discussed.
The what now?
And for Fane?
Fane will spend his time touring the countryside. Well, first off, Ingrid. He will take Ingrid on a lovely date. It'll include walks, dinner. It could be like a 2-day date. We got the time. Walks, dinner, a show, drinks, discussion, talk. Fane's a talker. He could talk for a long time. Just fill the time with one of those dates that just goes on with no sort of pressure to end it or anything like that. If she wants the good stuff, she can have the good stuff. If she doesn't want the good stuff, she doesn't have to have it. There's no pressure. She gets the good stuff. She gets the good stuff. She wants to spend a day in a bedroom? Sure. Fane's got time. But he'll take good care of Ingrid. Leave her with some good memories. And then we'll spend the rest of the time with his grandma, touring the countryside, showing her the big city, and just telling her all about, just telling her stories and showing her, what a tavern is like at 2 a.m., just, random parts of, mainland life that are important to know. And then he, as the last weird thing, I will try to find a vintner who I could hire the services of to go to someone who's adventurous enough to come to Oldenheim and plant grapes on Oldenheim. Because the jungle juice is not going to work in the long term.
Trying to find somebody that's gonna want to go that way. It's gonna be hard.
I'm willing to pay.
Everything will be
for-
done
Start
for
a
the right
remote vineyard.
price.
Right. I'm willing to pay for like a year of their service to start it and teach, and then, or if, however long it takes. I know wine takes a long time. Like, you know.
Sure. All right, Kothar.
Weird question. Can I go after Akare?
Yes.
I just imagine I have slightly more and I don't want to stop him.
Yeah, you're good.
I think aside from learning the things that I'm learning and helping people with their various projects, Akar is really kind of just generally training and readying himself mentally for what lies ahead. Probably spends a lot of time thinking about both Maeve and the Micaiah, and realizing that although he learned a great deal on Oldenheim and has the solution in Kidai, potentially, this is where he wanted to be weeks ago. He doesn't regret the journey, but he's not done.
Finally, Kothar.
Kothar will spend probably about a week and a half of Kidai's time, if she'd be as generous to help him, on the bar. Kothar would be going for kind of a weathered exterior. He'd like to try to find a mage in the capital that could enchant like some form of like almost permanent dancing lights into the bar around, so he doesn't have to worry about torch lights. Kind of warm dancing lights on the inside. The bar top he'd like to be made of Larmar, if possible, with dragon scales embedded in it, to give the illusion of almost like a perpetual sunset at sea. The chairs, tables out of driftwood, which I imagine isn't crazy hard to find. And then above the bar would just be a mantle where he would hang his dragon skull helm that he crafted, and then would offer ample space for anyone else in the party who would want to hang anything else up in the bar. That's kind of like a memento of their time on Oldenheim.
Side note, because I'm thinking about it at this exact moment, I don't know why. We never went over it, but you would have been able to retrieve the Arcane Devourer from Ophilia before you left.
Woo! I'll take it. But he might put that up there. He might keep it. Double battle axe. Who knows?
I'll put the tanned T-Rex hide on the mantle.
Hell
I'll
yeah.
put the queso blade up.
Oh god.
Woo!
Someone's gonna walk in and be like, "What
Um,
the fuck? This mantle's worth tens of thousands of gold."
Akari
And
will
don't you
put
touch
the glowing vial of the luminescent blood from, I described it in my inventory as a lambent quadruped. It is its luminescent blood, and just beside it he will create a space, a frame, if you will, to hold what would be an open book, but he does not mount a book at the moment.
Fair enough. The beer garden in the back, he would like to have enchanted with the same kind of dancing lights to give it like a nice soft glow at night. In the center, he will spare no expense to find a beautiful willow tree. which is as reminiscent as he can possibly get. And I'm going to absolutely butcher this name, of the Ngalana Forest? Ngalna Forest, outside Kidai's home, to kind of make it reminiscent of her village, should she ever choose to come back and visit, or whenever they're in town. And as a final gesture, he would like to he would take Kidai aside after they're done and present her the name of the bar, which is the Spirit of the Forest.
Aw.
Spirit kind of underlined, as it serves a shitload of alcohol.
It's beautiful, it's punny, it's perfect. I love it.
I figured it'd be right up your alley.
Forest. I get it.
And aside from that, he just spent the rest of his time kind of researching, in no particular order, the Gazing King, Verdant King, just kind of extra planar threats or anything kind of not of this realm, and like how it might impact or try to, harm his new home.
With your month of downtime between all of you, all of which is mostly easily completed. So we're going to end tonight's session.
It hurt. Let's see where you want to go last, Zach.
Shit.
Guys, chat, we are going to, this is just the official announcement. I made one last week. This is the last session for this group for the next couple of weeks. We are going to be taking a small hiatus as some of us start to get ready for the second half of this campaign. Zach will not be able, unfortunately, to join for the second part of this campaign. So we are going to be looking to either fill a fifth player or run with 4. We don't know yet. But either way, we're going to figure it out. But we're going to take a couple weeks off while I, as the DM, prep the second half of this campaign, their BBEG, their new story, and where the rest of their personal stories are heading. Hex, I believe, has, and he can correct me if I'm wrong here, has come to the conclusion that Bane is going to be his character for the second half of this campaign.
Yay!
Yay! Not that I didn't love Scholar. I do love Scholar.
Scholar has a project in mind that will take some time in his new lab. Having seen the new technology that Telstaria or Grand Boxia has to offer, he's got something he wants to work on.
Indeed.
That will take some time.
We're going to have conversations about the mayorship of Scholar and Kothar.
Oh, the RP, man.
But when we pick up next session, we will be going over what everyone accomplished, what they learned, and where the next part of this journey is going to take us after your guys' downtime. This is 1 month worth of downtime. I'm going to be working on writing up a document for each one of you that is kind of like your second 0 session, essentially. Would it be more focused on what you learned and what you did during your downtime, just so you have information that you can bring back to the table, because I kind of assume that as everybody takes time to themselves, you guys are not going to be sticking together as a party. People will kind of go off and do their separate things. Bane's going to spend a few days probably taking his Grand to Drakenford, dealing with his stuff there. Zamira, you didn't explicitly say it, but I assume you're going to be visiting your order. We can talk offline if you don't want to.
I mentioned going back there before, and you told me I couldn't or I shouldn't or something like that. Like you said there was a reason that I shouldn't, so I didn't bring it up.
I don't think I said that, but that's up to you. We can talk more about it offline.
Okay.
Akare, between what you guys learn about you'll finish learning medicine, and then what you'll learn about the Gazing King and the other things from Kothar's study, from Hidai's study, from your study, and everything else, all of that will be sent to you guys. What a fun first half.
Very
Half?
spicy.
You mean third?
What?
You mean
It's only
fifth?
a quarter.
Two, bitches.
Good
If you
first
give
fifth.
a mouse a cookie,
That's right.
It comes back for more.
Half. You really could do a 2-arc campaign? Yikes.
I also may
I mean, there was
can I
multiple
throw
arcs
in
on
one other
Downtime.
thing?
Yeah, what's up?
I'll message you offline, but I just want to fuck with the rest of the group. I have one other thing to tell you that Kothar does in his downtime.
Understood. It's gonna be a fun one, guys, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't have a definite amount of how many weeks we're gonna have off yet. I know a couple of you have expressed to me that you want a break to just, live life. So we'll talk offline. We'll decide
Life.
how long we're gonna take a small hiatus. If I had to guess, I'd like to go no longer than a month, just because I don't want there to be too much time between play before we get to the second half. If you guys think that's too long, or if it's not short enough, just reach out to me, let me know. But between
That's an ongoing discussion. I
yeah,
bet.
it's an ongoing discussion, yeah. So we'll figure it out. For those of you that are tuning in tonight and you haven't seen this campaign, it's all up on our YouTube. I highly suggest you go and watch it. This was a very RP heavy story or character story driven campaign that was one hell of a ride. There's definitely some moments in there that I didn't know where this campaign was going, and these guys just kept surprising me at every turn with what I threw at them.
Straight into the gutter with all our minds.
It was
I already sent you the
fun.
message of what Kothar does, by the way.
Okay, I'll look here in a second. But for now, for the next few weeks at least, this is the last time we're signing off. We'll see you guys next time.
Sad.
Zach? Thank you.
See you all in a little bit.